Hey, my friend, you probably already know this, but strong, healthy teams don't just happen by accident. They're built when we as leaders actually invest in our people, understand our own strengths and blind spots, and are intentional about creating a healthy team culture. Hi, I'm Robin Kent, and welcome to Teamwork Made Easier. In this podcast, we'll explore how people are wired and how to leverage our strengths, navigate those frustrations, and build that trust so teams can collaborate more effectively. Because one thing I know is this: when people are understood and supported, they don't just perform better, they start to love what they do and who they work with. So grab your coffee, lean in, and let's make teamwork easier starting today. All right, I'm so glad you're back here with me at Teamwork Made Easier. And today we're going to talk about the fastest way to create tension on a team. Yes, you heard me say that right. The fastest way to create tension on a team. You're like, wait a second, but tension is not good. Like, tension causes problems. It causes conflict. It causes struggles. You're right. You're so right. So we're going to talk about the things that actually do create the tension, but then also, how do we change that? How do we make sure we are not doing those things that create the tension on the team? Okay. I imagine you have walked into a meeting and you can feel the tension. You can read the room. You know the players in there, whether you're the leader, you're a future leader, or you're one of the team members in there. You can feel the tension at times, or in particular groups. But hopefully you've been in some meetings, in some groups that you don't feel that tension. And you're like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. Like, I can come in here and we can actually accomplish things. We're working together, and you want to have that feeling again. You do not want to have this tension, because the tension is usually not about big. It usually doesn't come about because of one big problem. It builds, it stacks one thing after the other. It's someone who is sighing and making remarks under their breath, or they're rolling their eyes, or they have side conversations that are not productive. They're sarcastic, or they are just, nothing to help with whatever you're tackling. Because if that side conversation was productive and beneficial, then they would have waited their turn and they would have spoke up in the meeting. But when you have this tension that builds over time, and it's small behaviors like this, yes, this happens with grown-ups, not just with kids. Trust me, you probably know this, but I just want to make sure you know that adults do this as well. And it is just such a challenge. It can be such a challenge to change that. But this is what I want you to do as a leader or a future leader. I don't want you to overlook these moments. I don't want you to overlook the eye rolling, the sarcasm, the dismissing of someone's idea quickly. These things seem small in the moment, and I totally get it. Like, you might be thinking, but I have a task to get done and I don't want to deal with that right now. But over time, they send a message to the people who are not doing these things that, that this is acceptable and that this is allowed. And when you don't address those kinds of things, then it just adds continual fuel to the tension in the room. And with that, then collaboration outside of that meeting, inside that meeting, is so much harder. So when you have that tension, you have to deal with it. Plus, typically that tension like that, with that behavior, those eye rolling, the sarcasm, when that comes about, it's usually because they feel like it's not safe to speak up. Like, it feels like they they're not going to be heard if they raise their hand and they speak up in a meeting. So this goes along with psychological safety. And I work with teams on this all the time of building trust, making the environment a place that we're accepted, a place that we all are different. But that is a fantastic thing that we're all different because we all bring so many different things to the group, to the team, to actually be productive. So one of the easiest ways to reduce this tension on the team, because I'm sure you're like, I don't want to create more, I need to change this, is to replace your reaction with curiosity. So instead of shutting, down in the sense of their attitude, the words that they might say, or ideas that they have, try asking, tell me more about what you're thinking. And get curious, get them to speak up and share what is on their mind or what led you to that idea. Because you might be the leader, but also the leader does not have all the answers. They might make the final call, absolutely, but you don't have all the answers. So when you're able to let other people feel heard and seen, no matter if you pick what they say, then at least that reduces the tension. That helps in leading the way to remove the tension and be productive in a meeting. So 2 things I want you to try this week is replace your reaction with curiosity. And this is genuine curiosity, like truly lean in, take time, ask, tell me more about that. Where did you come up with that idea? And again, it could be a whole nother episode in the tone and in the way that you say it, but truly take a deep breath. If you feel like you might be defensive or whatever that might be, but genuinely lean in with curiosity, because I personally have seen some of the best ideas come from this type of situation when the leader leaned in and was like, oh my gosh, I have not thought about that. So that's number 1. And number 2, I want you to notice the small signals that you send, the small signals that you send in your tone, in your facial expression, in how people are reacting to that in a meeting, because we can't control how other people behave. We can't control what other people say or any of those things, but we can be intentional about what message are we delivering to others to reduce this tension. All right. And so lean into that. If you're like, I'm not really sure what kind of message I'm sending off, ask a colleague, ask someone else that you trust that will be very blunt and, open with you and say, hey, I want you to help me when I'm in meetings or when you see me in this. What message do you feel like I'm giving off to somebody else who really doesn't know me, who may have just met me for the first time? What kind of message am I giving off when I'm around these people that could possibly easily frustrate you or irritate you? Or even if you're in not a frustrated state, maybe you're in a situation that you truly are at peace and you're easygoing, but your body language is telling a whole different story. So again, that's going to be another whole podcast about talking about matching those two, because that can create tension in any situation when those two are not in agreement. But for this week, I want you to go focus on replacing your reaction with curiosity and noticing those small signals that you send off to others. All right, my friend, I hope you found this helpful. I cannot wait to hear what this does for you in reducing that tension in those team meetings, whether that team meeting is a team of 15 or a team of 2. If you are able to do these, then you are getting ready to move forward in reducing and removing that tension and be even more productive in what you do. So, all right, my friend, Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you again really soon. Hey, my friend. Thanks so much for spending this time with me on Teamwork Made Easier. My hope is that today's conversation helped you see yourself, your team, or your leadership just a little more clearly. If you want to take this a step further, I'd love for you to grab my How You Are Wired to Work productivity tool. It's simple, practical way to understand how you naturally work best, what gives you energy, and what might be quietly draining you, so you can work with more clarity, less frustration, and a whole lot more ease. Go to robinkent.com/tool. That's robinkent.com/tool. You can find the link down in the show notes, because when you understand how you're wired and how the people around you are wired, it changes the way you lead, the way you collaborate, and the way your team shows up. All right. Thanks again for being here. If this episode was helpful, share it with a friend or another leader who could use it. And be sure to join me next time as we keep building teams where people love what they do and who they work with.